planning to attempt a rim to rim or even a double crossing of the rim to rim to rim in spring 2025, then listen up. Trail closures and extreme conditions this season mean this year's run is going to be very different and potentially very risky if you don't plan it right. So let's break it all down right now to make sure that your attempt in the Grand Canyon goes well. Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Alexander Tucker, an ultra runner and coach, sharing stories of endurance and adventure travel. I just got back from the Grand Canyon running the rim to rim to rim. So in today's video, we are diving into this legendary run, the Grand Canyon rim to rim to rim, or the single traverse, the rim to rim. It is an epic journey across one of the most iconic natural wonders in the world, there and back again. That's right, you descend over 4,800 feet from the south rim to the Colorado River, climb up the north rim of over 8,000 feet, and then reverse the entire thing to do it again, get back home, completing it by most accounts in about 45 miles or about 11,000 feet of elevation gain. So let's break it all down right now to make sure that your attempt in the Grand Canyon goes well. Traditionally, most runners start at the South Kaibab Trail, descend to the Colorado River, across the Black Bridge, and then hit Phantom Ranch before heading up the North Kaibab Trail to the North Rim. And then they do it all the way back. And as of April 1st, 2025, when I was there last week, here's what's important to know. The Bright Angel Trail is closed below Havasupai Gardens, so there's no access from the trail to the river. And it's scheduled to reopen on May 15th, but keep checking the website for updates. The Silver Bridge, the Lower Trail, and the Plateau Point Trail are all closed and will remain closed till the fall, most likely until next year. The Bright Angel Campground is closed until May 15th, which isn't that big of a deal unless you gotta use the restroom, which means that you can't use the restroom there, or unless you're looking for camping reservations, which they're not taking for this time. The North Rim is closed to access until May 15th, but here's the catch. You can access it from the canyon. There's just no available water at the top. That is still shut off until May 15th. So if you are doing the full rim to rim to rim this spring, you'll need to bring sufficient water for the full out and back from Manzanita Pump House Ranger Station and the North Rim. And that's a long, steep section with a serious gain in altitude. So with all that, what's still possible? The best viable rim to rim route right now is starting and finishing at the South Kaibab Trailhead, descending to the Colorado River, taking Black Bridge across, heading north via Phantom Ranch, and then climbing the North Kaibab Trail all the way to the North Rim and reversing it. It's the same exact route back. And that route keeps it as simple as possible. Just remember, you can't loop via Lower Bright Angel Trail to the river because that section from Havasupai Gardens is closed down until May 15th. In order to access the Lower Canyon from Bright Angel, you'll have to cross over to the South Kaibab Trail on the Tonto Trail. So everything has to be done as an out and back using the Lower South Kaibab or using the lower connector of the Tonto Trail to climb in or out of the South Rim via the Bright Angel Trail. Just remember, if you do that, you'll be adding about 1 or 2 miles of extra trail time. So that is a significant factor for some people who are just trying to get this done as fast as possible. And again, once you pass the Pump House Ranger Station on the way up North Kaibab Trail, there is no water until you come back down past that point. That section is about 5.5 miles one way with about 3,800 feet of vertical gain. So plan to carry at least 2 to 3 liters of water depending on your pace and your conditioning, as well as the conditions of the day. Next, let's talk about the trail conditions you're up against on the trail. South Rim highs are currently in the mid-70s, which is comfortable at the rim. But if you go further down into the base of the canyon at Phantom Ranch in the exposed canyon, temps are already pushing 98 degrees, and it's just mid-April. That'll only tell you how hot it's going to get this summer. The inner canyon acts like a heat trap, so by midday, it feels like you're running through an oven. And as I speak, this very weekend, it is wildly hot in the Grand Canyon, forecasted to hit 100 degrees in the canyon tomorrow. This means early starts are crucial, and if you're doing the full double crossing, you're likely to hit those brutal temps at least once, either on the way up or back out of Phantom Ranch. Also, water is a wild card. The Trans-Canyon water line has a history of breaking down. Even stations that should have water sometimes might not. And I'm not saying they won't, I am saying that it's possible. The park recommends being ready to filter from the creeks, so bring a filter or iodine tablets just in case. I found that there was water running at all the stations in the park that said would have it, so it wasn't an issue for me. Currently, the water that is available and turned on are the Bright Angel and South Kaibab trailheads, Havasupai Gardens, that's hard to say, halfway down Bright Angel to the river, the Phantom Ranch Canteen, and the Manzanita Day Use area, also known as the Ranger Pump House. Outside of those sections, for the climbs down or up, you'll need to bring lots of water for hours on the trail. In the base of the canyon between the Colorado River and the North Rim climb, the river is flowing freely, and you'll be able to use filtration if you demand more water. A key note to keep in mind for the trail conditions on the North Rim Trail: within 2 miles of the top, the trail is still quite icy, snowy, and muddy. The evenings remain cold well into May, so plan for a slow trudge through the mud and snow during that last section. And be careful, they can be quite slippery and messy. I personally fell going up, but fortunately without too much damage. It was just my pride that got hurt. As far as timelines, transportation, and crowds go, with spring crowds rolling in, expect about 90-minute waits at the south entrance during the midday. Your best option is to arrive early, before 9 a.m. or after 4 p.m. And for those who are putting in full days on the trail, either on a single or a double crossing, that won't really matter though, because you'll be getting up early either way. I was on the trail and moving by 4:30, and the dawn light had already started peeking out as early as 5:30, which means that it's getting hot pretty early in the day. So to get to the South Kaibab Trailhead, use the Hikers Express shuttle running at 6 a.m., 7 a.m., or 8 a.m. from the Grand Canyon Village Visitor Center, where you can park at the Visitor Center, leave your car, and head over on the shuttle. If you happen to be running late and miss your shuttle, which does stop running an hour after sunset, there are taxis that you can call, but you'll have to schedule them ahead of time. Otherwise, you'll have to walk that 2 miles back to the Grand Canyon Village along the Rim Trail. Toilets along the route are fairly well spaced, but limited in some sections, especially with the current closures. On the South Kaibab Trail, there are the compost toilets at Cedar Ridge and Tip-Off Point, but there's no water there. And going down further to the Colorado River, once you reach the Bright Angel Campground, toilets will be closed until May 15th. On the North Kaibab Trail, you'll find restrooms at the Manzanita Rest Area Pump House Ranger Station, with the Supai Tunnel toilet closed down for the maintenance until mid-May as well. On the return via Bright Angel, toilets are available at Havasupai Gardens, 3 Mile Rest House, and the 1.5 Mile Rest House. Just keep in mind that many of those do not have water, so always plan ahead and pack out trash responsibly. There are no trash receptacles in the canyon, so always take what you brought with you. So with all those closures, extreme heat, and logistical hoops, is it still worth doing the rim to rim to rim or the rim to rim this spring before all the trails reopen and the work finishes? Yeah, of course, but it's not for the faint of heart. I will tell you, it is still really difficult, especially with the trail closures. You can still complete the full classic route using the South Kaibab to North Kaibab and back. You just won't have any water past the Pump House Ranger Station on the North Kaibab Trail, or you could use the Bright Angel and cross over to the South Kaibab Trail using the Tonto Trail, but there is no lower loop option using Bright Angel or the River Trail until mid-May. So if you are going for it, my suggestion is to start as early as possible. Get ahead of the heat. And of course, carry water filter or treatment tabs just in case. And no matter how good you feel in your training or preparation for it, always bring at least 2 to 3 liters of water for that north and south rim ascents or descents. It just gets to be really long and hot, and you're going to want the extra. Yes, be prepared for the heat, the dehydration, and exhaustion, but also be prepared for the chilly weather in the early morning or late at night if you start early or end up finishing late. Take breaks along the way, especially in the heat of the day on the steep climbs and in Cottonwood Canyon Traverse. So if you are new to the Grand Canyon and have never been, consider it for your first time doing just a rim to rim, first before attempting the double. It is a bucket list route for a reason, but only if you're ready. All right, that is your full spring 2025 update for running the Grand Canyon rim to rim to rim or rim to rim. But again, check updates on the website. Give me a thumbs up by dropping me a like and tap the subscribe button. I'd love to have you along for more adventures like this. And let me know in the comments if you're planning to run it, or if you've already done so, send some suggestions for the rest of us that might be helpful. Share your tips, your stories, or just tell us what gear that you thought was helpful to bring with you. And if you are going and need any further help, you can always drop me an email on my website below or send me a DM on Instagram. Until next time, train smart, stay hydrated, and run light. I'm wishing you success out there in the canyon. Happy trails, safe travels, take care.